Here I am at Central Nissan in Jonesboro, Arkansas. They've got 3 level 2 chargers. One is blocked by an ICE vehicle, and the other you might be able to squeeze between that truck and that car. But they have one open. I feel kind of strange charging my Chevy at a Nissan place. And I don't need to. I've got enough to get home easily, but I just want to I want to try one. I've had this car a week and I haven't done a level 2 charge yet. So I'm going to try it and see. Rather than get my wheelchair out, I think it'd be easier just to hop on my one leg. It's not very far. I can do that. So let's see how this works. Somebody reported a week or two ago they couldn't get it to activate. So we'll see. Like I said, I don't know what I'm doing because I've never done this before. But it shouldn't be that hard. Let's see. Pop it open. Grab the cord. Plug it in. Hit start. Vehicle charging. That's awesome. Hopefully they won't mind. They probably won't even know. But still, I do feel kind of strange about it. You know. So I'm just going to hit the power button. So I'm going to start it. Let's see. Does it say charge? Yep, charge cord connected. I have no idea. Let's see, start at 46 miles at 12:33. I have no idea how much has actually been put in there, how many miles per hour I'm getting. I'm not sure how to know that. I am pretty ignorant on this thing. I've only had it a week. It shows distance, tire pressure, got nothing. So it says on one vehicle message, charge cord connected. Okay. All right, well, we'll see what happens. Okay, 30 minutes and only got, I think 3 miles, 2 miles. But to be fair, it's well into the 90s today and I had the air running. So that probably skewed the results. I probably burned about as much energy as I took in. But that's okay, it's hot. And I'm just waiting on my wife to get done at the doctor. She's done now, so I'm gonna go pick her up. But I finally level 2 charged. I just got my 2015 Spark EV a few days ago, and I wanted to touch on something. Now, I knew when I bought this car that the charger inside the car was 3.3 kilowatt hours. Most cars by 2015 had 6.6, which means it could charge twice as fast. Now, I've got the supercharger here, right there, if I could find a supercharger station, but the closest one to us is almost 200 miles away. With a supercharger, you can charge it from 0 to 80% in about 20 minutes. I've got it hooked to just a standard 110 outlet. By doing that, it'll take 18, maybe even 20 hours to charge it from 0 all the way up. Now, 220, if I were to, 220, if I were to get it installed, then it should charge it in about 7 hours. The only thing is, with my lifestyle, the fact that I stay home a lot, you know, sometimes 2 or 3 days without leaving, and I never need it charged that fast, I just don't see the need for me to spend the money to have a 220 outlet installed, plus the $400, $500, $600 or $700 for the charging station. I just don't see the need for it. But I did get a lesson. I went to Nissan yesterday and charged with the level 2. Now, level 2, just like at your house, it should charge it in about 7 hours. But I was thinking somehow that I'd get about 25 miles per hour charge. Which, if I thought about it, you know, 7 hours, that'd be 150 miles. 175 miles. This car don't do 175 miles. I should have known. But where I made my mistake was confusing this with all the other cars that I looked at, like the Nissan Leaf. the Fiat 500e, some of those, BMW i3, they will charge at about 20-25 miles per hour on the level 2. Mine, from what I understand now, is about 12 miles per hour on a level 2. So that's more of a reason not to worry about getting a 220 installed. I just wanted to clarify that. One more thing about this 3.3 kilowatt hour charger. A lot of people don't realize that EV owners probably realize it, but those researching it, considering getting an electric vehicle, they may not realize that the chargers are actually built into the car. The cable or the cord that comes with it for charging your car is pretty much nothing more than a fancy or a smart extension cord. The charging stations are just a way to provide the electricity. The charger is in the car. And it was kind of, I don't understand why Chevy put 3.3 kilowatt hour chargers in the 2015 Chevy Spark when the competition was putting double that, 6.6, so it could charge twice as fast. I imagine cost was the only reason. The Spark is one of the lowest priced new or used electric cars out there. I'm thinking mine sold for about $29,000 new, and I picked it up 3 years later, 29,700 miles for $9,500. I'm thinking that's about 67-68% loss of value. The same year model, same mileage, Kia Soul, which I think has a 6.6 kilowatt hour charger, $15,000. Now the Fiat 500e, I got mine a little bit cheaper than most. I got mine at Carvana. At Carvana, most of the cars, my year and my mileage were about $1,000 more, mid-tens. Mine, for some reason, was $9,500. And I talked to one of the employees about that, and they said they believed Carvana marked the cars up just a certain amount, around $2,500. And if they give them an auction cheap, they just pass the savings on. So that must have been what happened to mine. But the Fiat 500e is about the same price. It's mid-tens as well, 10 to 11,000, 3 years old, 30,000 miles. And it's a nice car. Looks anyway. I've never driven one. But the closest place for me to get it repaired, even recall work, was Memphis, Tennessee, which is almost 100 miles away from my house to the Fiat dealership. Chevy here in Paragould, Arkansas, actually has someone that's authorized to work on these electric vehicles. I had recall work done Monday, and I drove 4 miles to drop it off and have it done. I can't imagine if I'd had to drive all the way to Memphis. I couldn't even have made it on a full charge. Sit there and wait hours and then drive it back home somehow. That would have been too much trouble. But Fiat, Nissan Leaf, which I wouldn't buy a Nissan Leaf just because it doesn't have temperature controlled battery. They're the only ones out there I know of right now that is not controlling the battery temperature. Batteries don't like, that's another subject. Okay, back to the charger. Nissan Leaf, 6.6 kilowatt hour charger. Fiat 500e. I think the BMW i3, I'm almost certain. And I think the Kia Soul. If I'm wrong on one of those, then sorry, but I'm almost certain every one of them has a 6.6 kilowatt hour charger. Chevy didn't do it. And I knew that buying it. But I love everything else about the car. I love the display. I like the fact it tells you maximum and minimum miles you're going to get. And speaking to I watched a video of one of the engineers. They said they designed it so it would never run out until that minimum on the display gets to 0, unless you change your driving style, of course, or something changes. But I do like that, and I like the price. The price was very good. That's why I bought it, the main reasons. But the Kia Soul is pretty high, $15,000 for pretty much the same vehicle, maybe 10 more miles of range, maybe, for almost 50% more money. I just couldn't see it. But anyway, that's a little bit about the charger on the Chevy Spark 2015 model. It's going to take a lot longer to charge. But if you're like me and you don't have much of a life, and you've got time just to sit and let it charge, sleep, whatever, then it shouldn't be a problem. And it shouldn't be a problem for me.